Imagine a world where an action perfectly legal yesterday could suddenly become a crime today, with punishments applied retroactively. Or, picture a scenario where a government body, without any trial, simply declares a person guilty and orders their punishment. These are not hypothetical fears, but exactly the kinds of governmental abuses our fundamental law, the United States Constitution, works diligently to prevent. The core distinction between an ex post facto law and a Bill of Attainder lies in the nature of the legislative prohibition. An ex post facto law specifically forbids the retroactive application of criminal statutes, making an act punishable that was innocent when committed, or increasing the penalty for a crime after it was committed. A Bill of Attainder, conversely, is a legislative act that singles out an individual or a group, declares them guilty of a crime, and imposes a punishment without the benefit of a judicial trial. Understanding why these prohibitions exist helps clarify their importance. Ex post fact literally translates to from a thing done afterward, and its purpose is to ensure legal predictability and fairness. It applies exclusively to criminal matters, not civil ones. The Supreme Court has outlined four main types of ex post facto laws: those that criminalize a previously legal act, those that increase the punishment for a crime after it was committed, those that decrease the amount of evidence required to convict for a past crime, or those that alter legal rules to the disadvantage of the accused. Both Article 1, Section 9, and Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution expressly forbid these types of laws, reflecting a deeply held principle against arbitrary governance. A Bill of Attainder has its historical roots in English parliamentary practice, where it was used to punish political enemies without affording them a fair trial. The Constitution prohibits these to safeguard the separation of powers and to uphold the fundamental right to due process. It means that Congress cannot simply decide a person or a group is guilty of an offense and impose punishment directly. This legislative act of declaring guilt and prescribing punishment, without the intervention of a court of law, is precisely what a Bill of Attainder prevents. The prohibition applies to individuals as well as to easily identifiable groups, ensuring that the legislative branch does not usurp the role of the judiciary. These constitutional protections are crucial in ensuring a just and equitable legal system for everyone. They prevent legislative overreach, maintaining a clear division between the powers of the legislative and judicial branches. Critically, they guarantee that citizens can rely on the laws as they are written at the time of their actions, fostering trust and stability within the legal framework. Furthermore, they reinforce the fundamental right to a fair trial, ensuring that no one is punished without due process. Consider the landmark Supreme Court case of United States v. Brown from 1965. In this case, the court further clarified the scope of Bills of Attainder, extending its protection to groups defined by characteristics rather than just named individuals. This showed that the spirit of the prohibition extended beyond merely avoiding naming specific persons. Also, the prohibition against ex post facto laws embodies the ancient legal principle, nullum crimen sine lege, which means no crime without a law, highlighting that actions must be explicitly unlawful before they can be punished. These are not merely historical footnotes, but active, living safeguards of individual liberty against any potential for arbitrary governmental power. Ultimately, grasping the distinct yet interconnected nature of ex post facto laws and Bills of Attainder illuminates a vital aspect of American constitutionalism. These prohibitions ensure legal certainty, reinforce the critical separation of governmental powers, and guarantee every individual the fundamental right to a fair and impartial judicial process before the state can impose any form of punishment. They stand as enduring pillars of a just society, ensuring that government power is always exercised transparently and according to established legal principles, protecting all of us from arbitrary actions.